talking basketball. They're fucking dumb as shit. They don't know basketball, but they will make dumb ass jokes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pod Don't Lie with Sam and Stav. We are here with you post MLK Day edition. We got into the habit of recording on Mondays, but there was so many good games going on Monday. We wanted to fucking take them all in, watch them all, give you a full recap. How you doing, Sammy?
You know, I'm doing well. 2 for 2 Sunday, Monday. My Knickerbockers are back and better than ever.
That's right.
King Julius making a real bid for All-Star. And you know you're an All-Star when you shoot 5 for 19 and you still put up 22 and 17. I mean, this dude, he's averaging 23.
You're right. That's what being an All-Star is. Incredibly inefficient.
No,
that's
point
how you
is
know.
That even when you play badly, you get the job done. He's just a consistent force now that even when his game is off, he kills the team in other ways. He's averaging 6 assists a game, 11 boards, 23 points. Those are all-star numbers.
Those are all-star numbers. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just I just love that you are you have completely erased a year of cursing Julius Randle from your memory. You Men in Blacked yourself
last year.
But
so
now
annoying last year. But I feel like he heard my constructive.
He heard you. Yep. Yes.
Said, you know,
it's you specifically.
Podcast, but this is a big Knicks influence.
That's right.
I need to turn this around.
Listen, people don't know it because of COVID, of the lockdowns, but pre-lockdown, you couldn't walk down fucking Fifth Avenue without hearing people talking about Sam Morrill's takes on the Knicks. It was the whole town was buzzing. We're real tastemakers when it comes to New York Knicks coverage.
How about my man Emmanuel Quickly, just 17-8 against the Celtics. Just
IQ's looking beautiful. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love
Why couldn't we
Quickly.
have taken Halliburton over OB?
I know, bro.
If we had a backcourt of Halliburton and Quickly,
we're done backcourt wise.
Also, put some fucking respect on RJ Barrett's name. His last 3 games, he's gotten his shot back. He's averaging almost 8 rebounds a game. He plays physically. Once that jump shot starts falling, he is a really solid player.
Yes, and as you guys might have guessed from the first thing Sam wanted to talk about, no bigger NBA news has happened. James Harden has not played his first 2 games of the Brooklyn Nets. We had to start with the Knicks beating the Magic 91-84. Listen, the Celtics. That's if you had started with a shellacking, and that's where I'm coming in here, folks. This is what I want to highlight: the fact that the fucking Boston Celtics lost by 30 fucking points, scored 75. They scored 75 points
and how much
got their ass cheeks whipped.
How much did the Magic score? 84. We have one of the best defenses in the NBA. Our offense is stagnant. Our defense Tibbs is a defensive mastermind.
Let's take it easy. The Celtics shot fucking horribly that game.
We are one of the top perimeter defenses in the NBA.
Yeah, listen, it's a good defensive squad. Let me pull up these the numbers, the percentages the Celtics shot were fucking hilarious. Oh my dude, as a team, they shot 15% from 3 and 29 from the field.
I mean, that's what happens when you go up against a just ice cold lockdown perimeter defense and Tibbs has brought that mentality. It starts with the culture and it goes from there, baby.
That's right. Yep. It had nothing to do with they did not have who was out for. I think
Tatum was out, but Tatum's it still out. Counts. It still counts.
Anyway,
it was injuries. I haven't made excuses. There were games.
Yes. Would you say we had the kind of injury that was equal to Jason Tatum being out in that game?
Not in terms of talent, but in terms of what the team needs to succeed. No Burks or Bullock. That means we have no 3-point shooting on the floor, and that just washes our whole.
Bullock did play against the Celtics.
He did, but he missed multiple games. Is my point. Burks still isn't back.
You're right. And Taj Gibson, by the way, we didn't highlight that. Taj Gibson has signed with the Knicks in a tough sign for people. Here's the problem. Tibbs is going to grow and bold, dude. We're going to get fucking they're gonna find fucking
Carlos Boozer.
Carlos Boozer's coming back with his painted on hairline. We're gonna get fucking Luol Deng is coming back, dude. They're gonna get Dang off the couch. Anyway.
No, Taj is different, dude. Because once you're a Knick for life.
That's right. And listen, Brooklyn guy, I'm not mad at it, but
I saw him on the street a few months ago.
Oh yeah,
it was a sign.
It was a sign. Everything's a sign. IG DMs.
We do have to talk about the Nets, and it annoys me, but like, man, we were texting throughout that Bucks Nets game last night.
Yeah,
James Harden is having fucking fun.
Dude, it's awesome. Listen, I just love seeing a fat guy smile, dude. That's what it really like. The thing is, when it comes to basketball, there's things you can nitpick over. You can like, oh, there's the only one ball thing has never, in theory, meant more than with this team. You can say like, is this a bad like this did we really need, because the Nets were already a contender. If you care about the overall like health of the league, it would have been better for Harden to go to the Sixers or to go somewhere else and maybe make another contender where, to improve another team instead of to like, put strength on top of strength. But when it comes down to it, but when it comes down to it, seeing a fat guy having the time of his life out there, hanging out with his boy, look, who am I to begrudge a guy who spent a lot of his youth getting fat and trying to get pussy, and then saying, you know what, I got to get serious and move to New York. Me and Harden had a very similar path in Baltimore. My last year, I got very fat working. I was not giving it my all at Sherwin-Williams, where I was a part-time paint employee. And I said, you know what, it's time to get serious, move to New York, and try and go for a championship, podcasting wise. And here I am.
Is he even that fat? Or
for James Harden, he's fat. Let's be honest. Like
James Harden, he's fat, but he's still moving very. This guy ain't Khalid El Amin. Like this.
No, but hold on. Let me read you some Steve Nash comments. The reality is that we have a terrific performance team. The reality is they're almost playing defense trying to protect him. He is playing games. He played about 40 minutes that last game. It's about recovery and rejuvenation, so he can play his way back into shape and mitigate the risk of injury with that load.
That's rough.
It's a unique situation because he's so gifted that he can play at a high level even when he's not in shape. We want him to play. It's really hard to do much more to protect him and help him recover and rejuvenate. Steve Nash is talking like they gave a heart attack patient dick pills. That's he's talking about like, hey, look, we're doing everything we can. We're doing everything we can to protect his health, but the man's going to go out there and fuck. And that's what, by the way, Harden is fucking out there.
It is hilarious. It is hilarious that he looks like a creative player in a video game where you're like, a dude like that looks like that can dribble and drive like that. And then he's just like shaking people. I'm like, ah, shit. That's like, he had that one play where he just did that teardrop over, I forgot who it was in the Bucks. It might have been over Brooke Lopez or something, but he just shook them.
Yeah, it was Lopez. Yeah.
That was gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, dude, and let me say this, because I have always felt an instinct. I don't know what, I just love Harden. I've always felt the connection to him. I think it goes back to being such a Warriors hater and having him be like the great hope of dethroning them. Yeah. I think that's where, like, I mean, I always loved him. I loved his game. It never bothered me that he like, I don't mind his ISO ball in a way that I do mind it with Trae Young. I don't know why, but I don't mind that he would dribble a lot. I don't mind that he would, get all the bullshit fouls and everything.
He kind of earned it. I mean, like, Trae maybe will earn it because Trae.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. It's the kind of thing where I loved him. He was so fun on the Thunder, like being their Manu essentially. And it's like, I guess what it is about Harden is like his narrative through the league was so fun, where it's like he was a part of, and if you didn't love that Thunder team, dude, like when they were first coming up, I don't know what to tell you. It was a good story. It was the only thing that was hard about it was that they stole Seattle's team. That was the one thing holding me back from fully loving them. And you know what? And you know what? Karmically, fuck the Thunder. They've paid for it by having – it's almost like God was like, all right, I'm going to give you 3 MVPs. You're going to keep the worst one. You're going to trade him You're going to trade him. Yeah, they're going to get a bunch of draft picks, but
they're still having a good season so far. They're still not bad.
I'm just saying. Listen, they're not bad, but they had James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook from total team control, and they don't have shit to they don't have shit to show for it, but losing once in the finals.
I love that all these great players are going to come into the league and they're going to be like, you're going to get drafted by either Houston or the Thunder. Those are your only options. Dude, I'm with you. And it's tough for Seattle because they got a taste of Kevin Durant. Like,
he played 1 year.
Like in a fucking Sonics jersey. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's fucking
I think
tough.
there's even a picture of Russell Westbrook in a Sonics jersey, or at least a Sonics hat, because they technically became a different franchise after the draft, but I might be imagining that.
Brutal. I mean, so anyway, the Thunder, James Harden, dude, by the way. Oh, and we got to give a quick shout out to Oladipo, who looked great for the Rockets.
And well, let's talk about those games too. But I just want to say, let's get back to how hard Harden is fucking. In his first debut, 32-14. Second game, 34-12.
32, 14, and 12, because he's the first player ever to have a triple-double on his first.
Triple-double. And the team looks really fun. Now, I will say, okay, so it's tough not to sort of feel it's just not okay. It's this, you're not going to like hearing this, but you almost do root for like not the actual franchise of the Nets, but you take everything that they have involved and all the elements. And we've discussed this, the Suns DNA, the reunion of, Harden and Durant. And you know what? Kyrie is like, this is another thing I wanted to say. Kyrie, can he be a little annoying? Can he be, whatever? It's like, yeah, certainly. But the thing we need to fucking understand, and is it weird that he took this time off? But again, the same way we have to take Harden away from this basketball context. And he's just a guy Harden is just a guy that wants to hang with his friend that he was hanging out with when they were 21. Like,
and
he's a guy
adorable. Yeah.
And you know what? He also realized, I mean, he had some comments where he was like, did you see that where it was like he had that smile he had in his post game news conference, and then CJ quote tweeted it and was like, "Buddy, look happy as shit." and then Iguodala responds to it, and he's like, he was like, "That's what it looks like when you play with KD." And he was like, "But the dude is a god," and I think that's what it comes down to.
He is
Harden.
I mean,
Harden just like Harden wants to be the number 2, bro. He tried it. The playoffs are tough for him. Anyway,
is it even a number 2, or is it like a 1 and 1A? And I think Kyrie is kind of the 2, but then you have like Harden putting up those numbers. Is he really a number 2? He's kind of just the other guy.
But that's the thing. But I guess when it comes to real deal, like who's taking the last shot, in my mind. And listen, I love Harden for doing this. Again, I feel closer and closer to Harden every day, where it's like, bro, I'll show up, I'll do a really good job, but crunch time sounds pretty fucking annoying to me. I'll get nervous. I would love think about it. You get to be the best at your job, and then when it gets really hard, you can just be like, hey, can you just do this real quick? Like, this actually sucks. Can you do it for me?
Also, Durant hit that big 3. He stripped himself on that play at the end. Good defense.
Yeah, but listen, we're not talking about.
But KD had a few plays. That one double cross on Middleton, that's an elite defender guarding him. And you just get a 7-foot guy with handles. Like, I agree with you. I love the idea that, like, there was that quote of Harden saying, "We were boys then, we're men now." And
yeah, exactly.
There's also but there's also the idea that, KD and Harden together, it is fucking electric. And I'm not rooting for them, but I do kind of want to see a Nets-Lakers finals. And shouts out to Joe Harris, who was 5 for 7 from deep. Like, if that dude is on, it's a fucking wrap.
That's and I do want to talk about that too, because I do think the Bucks, theoretically, we talked about this matchup as well as somebody can, just with their personnel. But the point I was trying to make in the preamble to Harden, the point I was trying to make with the like, you got to think about Harden as a guy. I respect him. I did the same thing. I moved to New York when it was finally time to get my life together. And
how many exes did you get back with?
too.
I mean,
Off
no,
and on.
he's-
Yeah.
But that's what
Harden's
he's
my
doing.
guy.
He's like a guy who like gained a little weight. He's scrolling through his phone. He's like, let's recreate the magic.
Let's see if
Westbrook
it can happen.
didn't work.
Yeah,
with
I
Westbrook.
do. That's true. I wonder if I'm gonna end up getting married to one of my exes. We'll see. Stay tuned, folks. If they win a championship, I'm gonna propose to an ex and just say, you know what, I'm going the full Harden route. Just out of the blue, like, hey, what's up? Do you want to get married?
That is the thing. When you have an ex that is Durant-esque, how are you ever
Yeah.
going to sleep at night? You're like, I had the best fucking.
I guess I wouldn't say I got a lot of Durants out there. I think we've got some fucking Bino Udries out there. We got some fucking anyway, so the same way I look at
Shouts out to Bino Udre.
Shouts out to Bino Udre. The same way as a guy, I respect him. That goes with Kyrie. As a guy, bro, who hasn't just been like, yeah, I don't fucking want to go to work. And then you just don't. Like, he gets to do that. This is a guy that just told his boss to suck his dick. He'll be back when he feels like it. He's a hero for the working man. And I know he's rich, but compare him to Joe Tsai, his boss, the owner of the Nets, who's one of the richest people in the world. Kyrie fucking rules for just disappearing and being like, bro, who cares about, like, he's like, I'll be at the playoff. Like, when it matters, I'll be there. I'm going to go to my sister's birthday party. Like, I'm not fucking mad. I don't care. And then, so I respect him for just not going to work and getting away with it. He's a hero for the working man, but also
for all working.
No, exactly. Everyone should be able to just not work and get their salary for like a week if you feel like it. I
think during these COVID times, you're making a damn good point.
And here, yeah, oh, absolutely, dude. Yeah, the way everyone deserves. Like, it's so funny that Congress is like, oh, should we give them $2,000 checks or $1,400? Which is, by the way, suck my dick. A $2,000 check, you can't.
It's nothing. It's nothing. Look what they're doing in Canada, man. Fuck
yeah.
them.
Canada, you had $2,000 in your account like 2 days after the lockdown. Australia, you got $2,000 a month indefinitely. Yeah. Like, people have literally had so anyway,
in like the same year span, Trudeau, it's like a blackface photo came out, and then also he's like, I'm actually very reasonable though.
Yeah. If only more cancel culture people were like that. If every comedian that wants to say the N-word also went and did community service, that's the thing. We should have there should be some kind of there should be like a compound media program where it's like they're over there donating to a fucking soup kitchen. It's like, all right, you've earned one N-word for 1,000 hours of community service, Aaron. That's something we need to think about politically, Sam. But when we run the PDL party to solve when we're powering
party.
Yeah, when we're powering, there's a source of renewable energy, and that's mid-tier comedians' desire to be racist, and that's as powerful as solar energy, as far as I'm concerned. We need to put them to work. But anyway, Kyrie fucking disappeared from work. Respect. And the second thing that the media wants to talk about how fucking, he's like difficult, whatever. Here's some of the shit, like on a podcast recently. Steven Jackson revealed that, because they were talking to him about he was being interviewed about the George Floyd situation. As we all know, Steven Jackson was friends with George Floyd. I mean, they
both from Houston, I believe.
Yeah, Houston. And he revealed, just kind of nonchalantly, it didn't seem like Kyrie wanted him to say it. He just said he was listing like people that have helped out George Floyd's family. Yeah. And Kyrie bought his family a house.
Yeah.
And it's like, and not only that, we're also forgetting when COVID first happened, and the WNBA players, a lot of WNBA players who didn't have the luck, they had a bubble, but you can kind of tell that it wasn't being taken as seriously as the NBA's bubble. Kyrie donated $1.5 million of his own money for players that sat out the season and didn't have a way to pay, to float their salary. He donated over $300,000 to a food bank.
Sure.
He donated food and masks. His mom's Native American. He donated food and masks to to their tribe. And he I think like last month it came out that he paid off 9 students from HBCUs.
Saw that, yeah.
it's like this guy fucking rules. Kyrie rules. So he's a little quirky.
His heart is big. His heart is undeniably big. And shouts out to Barbara Streisand for giving the George Floyd family Disney stock.
I was gonna say that.
That stock is rising, baby.
Absolutely. Lil Wayne bought them a Mercedes.
Yeah.
Barbara Streisand gave them stock in Disney. Was what Captain Jack said on that podcast. So I guess I'm just saying, like, when you think of all that stuff and how, like, I'm not outwardly rooting for them, right? Like, for me, obviously I root for Giannis first and foremost. I want him to get a championship, but it's the kind of thing where, especially when you throw in the narrative of what you just said with like Lakers Nets would be incredible. You sort of,
it's Durant versus LeBron part 3.
Come on.
And this time it's a little more even. I mean,
way more even.
I do think that the Kyrie is your third guy. Just having another fucking dude, and just imagining if they had Dinwiddie, maybe he would have been forced into those trades. Who knows? But imagine if they had another guy off the bench like that who could just hit open shots. They're just a good team. And the thing that I'm thinking about the Nets in crunch time, what do you need to do to win a game in crunch time? Hit free throws. Kyrie, KD, Harden, Joe Harris. These guys don't miss free throws.
Yeah, Joe Harris, and to circle back to that point that you were talking about, Joe Harris, because we were texting, right? And look, theoretically, I think if you just on paper look at Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, in terms of 3 guys to guard the top 3, now no one stops those guys, right? You don't stop them, but that's the kind of personnel that matches up pretty well. And I'm personally, and I'm somebody who thinks, like, I want to see Giannis take on this fucking challenge. I did not like that Chris Middleton is on KD at the end of that game. I mean, he's out there. There was possessions where they have Giannis on Jeff Green. Having
Giannis be the defense. This is why LeBron is never the defensive stopper. No one's going to argue that he's not, at least in his prime, wasn't the most insane defensive player. But to do what they do on offense, you can't also be the defensive stopper.
Dude, okay, here's the thing, though. And this comes from somebody who loves, like, understand Giannis is my favorite player of all time, realistically speaking here. Like, as much as I love everybody, you know, his career is still very young, but like when it's all said and done, it's like he's a Greek. He grew up in Athens. He's a 2-time MVP. You want to talk about inspiring stories. Anyway, somebody who loves Giannis as much as is possible. Mm-hmm. I think there does need to be, clearly he wants to be everything for the franchise, right? But his skill set, if we think about it, he's a modern big. He's a modern, he's Shaq 2. I mean, you look at his offensive stats, they're Shaq. They're not like, he isn't
except for the fact that it much improved 3-point shot, but yeah, agreed.
Well, you know, recently he's unfortunately been shooting free throws like Shaq too. Yeah. But so to me, it's like, let's shift what Giannis really is.
Do you attribute that to fatigue? I mean, this is a guy that does.
I don't think it's fatigue.
But when players, I know he's got big hands and shit. But when players start shooting free throws poorly, I do think a lot of the time it's that they're doing too much. It's being tired.
I mean, maybe, and I certainly the truncated fucking season doesn't help that, but I don't know if it's fatigue. I don't know if it's like psychologically he feels like he has to do everything. I mean, let's also think about it. This is a guy who decided, fuck it, I am put this whole fucking franchise on my shoulders. Put this franchise that is not run well. This GM has fucked up a lot of stuff, and I don't. And you gave up, you know, your whole draft, your first round picks for Drew Holiday, who is good, but also 31, but give him props on defense last night, like that dude, of course.
And he hit a couple. There was one play where he hit 2 threes in a row, and I was like, oh, this dude, like, he's fucking feisty, man. I like.
No, I love him. I mean, I just, you know, but I'm saying, like,
plays, you can just tell he comes from a basketball family because he's like, I'm not backing down at all.
Yeah, no, he's incredible. He's great. And
I love his brother Justin. I'm furious and Knicks didn't re-sign him for fucking pennies.
Yeah, I know. Let's not even acknowledging Sam's attempt to derail me with a Knicks point. But anyway,
attempt rejected.
No, Sam. I'm gonna get a soundboard, and every time you try and steer me to Knicks, I'm hitting the Mutombo. No. Anyway, so I guess okay. Maybe it's psychological here. There's a lot on the guy's shoulders. Maybe he's like, fuck, I need to do everything for this team. And he's looking at them. They're not as deep as they used to be. He's looking at Harden getting traded to the Nets. Anyway, I don't know what the free throw shooting is. The point is, it's not a lack of trying. But my point is, I think Chris Middleton's really fucking good, right? I think Chris Middleton can be the crunch time. Like when it comes to crunch time in this league, it's got to be a perimeter guy.
He barely
I love
missed
Giannis.
that game winner.
Yeah, and he had Giannis open for a dunk, but they have 3.8 seconds, which by the way, fuck the refs. They should have had 6 seconds on the clock. They clearly called the timeout the second they got the ball, but that's neither here nor there.
I
the
think
point I'm trying to make, right?
You overrate Middleton and I underrate him.
No, I don't think I overrate him, dude. I think he has shown real in the playoffs too. He's had really big moments. He kills the Celtics.
That one huge game.
The Heat game, the only reason they won is the game Giannis gets hurt. Middleton goes off. I think, and now especially with Drew, who's not your typical creator, but he crunch time skill set wise, I think both Chris and Holiday have better skill sets for Giannis. And I think what that comes down to is, sure, Giannis is your workhorse on your offense. He's the engine. It drives everything for most of the time. But when it comes to crunch time, right, I don't think he should be the focal point of the offense, at least right now. He's a big who – he's a big, but he's also, in theory, could be the best perimeter defender in the fucking league if he wanted to, right? So why not shift his focus to, yes, when it's crunch time, what you do, Giannis, is you are everything but the crunch time scorer because you don't have that particular skill set. So you lock down KD,
bad, yeah. You
get the fucking rebounds. You're smart as shit. You cut, you make yourself available for especially if they shift their best defender to a different guy and now Giannis has the second best guy or a big on him.
I hear what you're saying. The problem is there's fucking 3 of them. I know they're all good defenders, but it doesn't matter how good a defender you are. If you get a one-on-one with anyone, and you're at the level of Kyrie, James Harden, Kevin Durant, when you're that good, one-on-one, I don't care how good you are on defense, they're gonna score or draw a foul.
Yeah, and that's true, and that's what.
The problem
and so,
with the Nets.
So the and not only that, but you said it before with then you have Joe Harris just waiting there. So if any of the,
Who's a great shooter,
who's not, yes, exactly. It's like how many iconic moments, the Kerr pass, people have done, it's just like that exists. And Joe Harris is as good a fucking 3-point shooter as there is in the league right now. Well, maybe a hair below the absolute elites, but very top.
He's up there.
He's definitely up there. He's he's in that elite category. So maybe he's at the bottom of the elite, but still, that's a guy you don't want to leave open. You can't double team any of these fucking guys.
I don't even know if he's at the bottom. I think he's one of the best at shooting threes. I think,
I'm just saying Steph, Durant. I'm talking about the very best guys.
Yeah.
But you might be right. I don't know his exact percentages, but I'm just saying you don't want to leave that guy open is my point. Whatever. We're nitpicking where he ranks, but like,
I think guys like obviously Steph,
they're scared. Yeah, obviously
he's shooting 51.1 from
Jesus Christ. Okay, so yeah, that's clearly not a guy.
He's getting open,
and he's only going to get more open if Kyrie comes back.
Dude, he could put up record-setting 3-point numbers this year.
At the same time, as we're saying all this though, there were possessions, and this is Harden on his absolute best behavior. He just got there, right? Like, it's like. There were possessions even in that game where those guys just aren't playing defense. And maybe that's because it's January. Maybe when it comes down to it and it's the fucking playoffs, they will be absolutely locked in. So especially because so much of defense is effort. But it's crunch time and Giannis had a open dunk. Open. Like ridiculous. The kind of shit that would if that happened to Tom Thibodeau, the man would have a stroke. Like that's the kind of shit that they just left him let happen. It was like a layup line.
Their D is not great. And I will say this, Harden, you're right. Best behavior. I remember when the Knicks traded for Stephon Marbury and I was like, he's Isaiah Thomas. Look at him. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
So that being said, Harden is a superior player to Marbury.
Of course.
Harden is, even if he fucks up, dude. That guy at 85%, just the shitty, like the passing. He is a savant. Like you
Oh my
watch him
God,
make
yeah.
passes, and you're just like, this dude is as good a passer. I mean, he's led the league in assists before. He is as good a passer. And watching Harden make quick decisions as opposed to just doing the dribble shit where he has to make quick decisions because he's playing with KD and he'll be playing with Kyrie. He is so fucking fun to watch.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's so fun to watch. But oh yeah, and the thing I was gonna say was like, this is the first time I've ever, in my heart, rooted against James Harden. Like, you know what I mean? Like this game was the first time where I was like, oh, and it sucks. He's so good. I mean, offensively, he's just like so good. But anyway, having said all of this, and this was also a point I was trying to make when we were texting last night, is like at the same time, this is a super team that has to gel in under one season, and it's an even shorter season than usual. We've seen injuries be a problem just in general because of how truncated the season is. And these are three guys that, well, Harden hasn't had injury problems, but Durant and Kyrie have had both injury and like I guess what you could say psychological problems.
Kevin Durant has not had psychological problems. I mean,
in terms of
the burner and ship it in the playoffs, the dude is a fucking bucket.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about random little shit that we don't see coming that could derail a team. I'm just saying, I don't think
so badly. And I also, this is my prediction right now. I think they make the finals this year. I think next year they win it.
Okay. We got it right here. Stamstradamus.
I think
put it on the board.
I think it's like a Miami Heat situation.
They need it.
Fucking win it this. I mean,
they could win it this year. Yeah, for sure. So anyway, those are our takeaways. Essentially, to make a long story short, that's our takeaways from the Nets. They're scary. They're fun to watch, and it's very human. They all have very human stories. And at the end of the day, you can't be mad. You can't be mad at the boys just fucking wanting to get together in Brooklyn and try and make a go of it. This is them starting up. This is like a bunch of comics just moving to New York and be like, we got to start a podcast. You know what I mean? It's like, hopefully, hey boys, I hope that Patreon shoots up for the Nets is all I'm saying. We also got a Patreon too. So if you're enjoying this, go over to patreon.com/poddon'tlie for an extra episode every week covering everything.
We're
but anyway,
over 1,100 now, dog. So we got to get ready for that Bulls next 2K game.
Yes, absolutely. And shouts out to the Bulls. The battle for stake is remaining interesting. They beat the Rockets yesterday.
6-8.
Both 6-8. Oh, I thought the Knicks had a game on the Bulls.
No, I believe.
Am I wrong? I think you're 7-8. I think the Knicks are 7-8.
Yeah, we are. Okay,
yeah.
I was wrong.
Anyway, still Bulls are keeping pace, and that's a big win over the Rockets with Oladipo, who went off. So
he went off, but that's a new team right there. I mean,
what he had what 32 and 9 or something like that.
Oladipo is playing for a contract.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's part of why he's pissed is like he felt comfortable and now he's like, but this might be a blessing for him. Eventually he can go where he wants. There's a story I have to touch on, Stavros. And
please.
I apologize in advance. It's not Knicks related, so I can at least give you that. It is about friend of the podcast, Kelly Oubre. Now, Kelly is a guy who I fought for throughout the years.
That's true.
And I've always had his back, and I love his swag. And yes, he's struggled and been a problem. He's had problems in Golden State. He played very well last night for them, but he has not played well this year. His three-point shooting has been abysmal.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of criticism. A story broke on our good friends Black Sports Online's website, and it's been picked up since by NBC Sports and a lot of other websites. Warrior Kelly Oubre's ex-girlfriend McKenna LaDuff plans to extort him for $3 million for breaking up with her. She also stole his fucking dogs.
Wow. Are you kidding me?
You do not do this to a man. You do not take Kelly Oubre's dogs. How dare you? Look at his eyes. I know that he hurt you. I know anyone would be devastated to lose Kelly, but you do not hurt animals.
You don't know that she fucking hurt the animals. She just took them from Kelly.
She made veiled threats, and she's posting pictures with guns. And
wow,
dude,
she's got a crossbow held up to a chihuahua's head. He's like, do the right thing, Kelly. Wire me the $3 million.
And she's also threatened to make false allegations. She's trying to extort $3 million from his father. She took a fake burner phone and is texting Kelly's dad. I mean, this is dark shit, dude.
This is his ex, not the woman he just got engaged to.
No. And believe me, I'm sure that hurt extra. I'm sure she's got crazy eyes. Here's the problem with Kelly Oubre. He's so handsome that he probably needs to challenge himself. He probably is like, I can only come to crazy eyes. You know
think
what I mean?
So? Yeah.
Probably. If I had to break down his fuck game, I would say Kelly is so handsome.
Yes.
That regular sex just doesn't do it for him anymore.
Interesting. You think that's how if you're handsome enough, isn't it? So you're saying he's so handsome, he's gotten so much pussy, he needs to do some weird shit. And the types of women that are interested in to let Kelly do whatever he wants might be a little mentally unstable, and the types of people that try and get ransom for a Rottweiler is what you're saying. Okay, so you think because his ex-girlfriend stole his dogs, Kelly Oubre had one of the worst shooting 3-point percentages of all time.
Mental, and it's like also a change of scenery. But listen to this quote: McKenna posted a photo on her Instagram account where she intimated that she would take physical action against Kelly, Kelly's friends, or anyone that tried to enter the house to help Kelly and retrieve his things.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. So I think you're right. I think that's the reason he's shooting 20% from 3 on the year.
He's struggling. Kelly, it'll get
and
better.
36 from the field.
Listen how unhinged this woman is.
If it's on the field, and by the way, that a lot of that 36 is probably dunks. Like take the dunks out, and his field goal percentage is brutal.
McKenna posts a picture in a bikini holding a gun. Okay. On Instagram.
All right.
It writes exercising all my rights. # relax. # it's a BB gun. # women crush Wednesdays. This is a clear threat.
That's my WCW. That's my woman crush is a fucking insane bitch with a fake AR-15 pointed at me. That's so funny.
There's another one with these two dude. These dogs are so cute. Dude, I'm really.
What kind of dogs, Sammy?
They look like French bulldogs to me.
Oh, that is a cute dog.
And there's 2 of them, and she's holding them hostage with this BB gun.
Okay, what did the post with the dog say? Because to me, that's just a weird post with a gun, but it's not exactly. To me, that's more Second Amendment than it is. Okay. Sam here is coming out strong against a woman's right to bear arms. Now, what's some of your proof about the threats towards the dog? Because I'm not seeing it so far.
It's a sweet cancer's birthday. Happy born day to my main man. You've been there in the brightest days and my darkest days. As someone who suffers with severe anxiety and depression, who needs to work that into a dog post? You're showing how unhinged you are. All I can say is emotional support animals are so real, and I'm blessed ×2. It's 7 × 5. So today he's 35 today. All right, the math checks out.
Okay.
Okay, and then here's the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think y'all be forgetting, so I take a minute to remind you, and don't forget about my new vlog dropping tonight. She's got a vlog, a gun,
Sam,
and a vlog.
So far, I don't see any evidence of threats towards the dogs. If anything, what I see is you coming out against the Second Amendment and against someone who has mental health issues. Sam is against the anxiety community.
Extorting Kelly for.
Says who? I haven't seen any proof.
Remember, Kelly's making less money this year because of the bubble and because of the lack of attendance at the game. So you're coming at my man Kelly for $3 million when I think you're entitled to 300,000 max.
Oh, so you would give her 300K?
I think peace of mind is worth something.
Well, I don't know. It sounds to me. What's her name?
McKenna LaDuff, I believe.
It sounds to me McKenna needs to chill out, and maybe she could do that with some high-quality CBD products from our friends at cushydreams.com. If you're an insane, dumb bitch who stole a man's dogs and you need to really take a second and think, am I doing the right thing? What I would do is go to cushydreams.com. That's KUSHY dreams.com and order some of the finest lab-grown, thoroughly inspected, high-quality CBD products. And listen, I would maybe check out the website, but it sounds like she needs an indica heavy blend. And our good friends at Cushy Dreams have both indica and sativa blends. Some are good for, there's Hustle, which I wouldn't recommend
Not for her.
She doesn't need to hustle.
She needs some peace. I
She needs
smoked some
some
of that
peace.
the other night, dude. I was so calm. If Kelly dumped my ass, I would have been fucking good to go.
You would have been good to go. And this is a scenario Sam thinks about all the time, is not only a relationship with Kelly Oubre, but what would happen if it didn't work. Sure, Sam thinks about their matching tuxedos at their gay weddings and whether he would go rhinestone or if that would be a little too on the nose in terms of gay wedding.
We're going Dumb and Dumber style.
Yeah. Sam has thought about this a lot. He's thought about it working out. He's thought about getting dumped. And if he got dumped after a passionate, sordid love affair with Kelly Oubre, where he tries gay sex for the first time, and even though he doesn't like it, his love for Kelly and how handsome he is gets him through it. Sam has thought about all these things. The pain he feels in his ass is taken away because even in his fantasies, Sam is smoking cushy dreams to make the excruciating anal sex from Kelly Oubre's giant penis go down a little smoother with a graham pre-roll from our friends at Cushy Dreams.
We're gonna get an email from Cushy Dreams like, "Hey, can we talk about the ad reads? I don't know."
And we'll say, no, we cannot. Take it or leave it, you fucking pieces of shit. We are working in a painful gay sex fantasy into the ad read. And so if you're either a woman extorting a handsome NBA player or a otherwise straight man fantasizing about having sex with him, the only brand of CBD that we can personally recommend is cushydreams.com. So go over to cushydreams.com. That's KUSHY dreams.com and use promo code PODDON'T. That's PODDONT for I think it's 20% off your first order or off your order.
Love it.
So go over there, use that shit, smoke some Cushy Dreams, and just feel good, baby. Anyway, Sammy, what other? There's a lot of basketball stories.
I got to give a quick shout out to the Memphis Grizzlies who have won 5 straight.
Yeah, the Grizz. You want to talk about a team that doesn't give a fuck about of tanking, even though it really would make sense for, like, imagine if the Grizzlies were just bad and then got a top 3 pick on top of what they already had. But they kind of are doing what you, and look, I don't mean to fucking disrespect the Knicks and bring this in, but I would feel a lot more comfortable doing that if I already had my franchise player. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of those things where it's like, they got Ja, they got Triple J. Sure, one more guy would be nice, but fuck it, man. If that's what a Warrior Ja is, he's like saying, fuck it, I'm getting into the playoffs, even with a team that kind of sucks.
Wearing the Kobe high tops the rest of the season.
Wearing the Kobe high tops. He had these beautiful snakeskin high tops on. Looked awesome.
They are a tough team. I mean, shouts out to Grayson Allen, who I can't stand.
I can't do that. I will not be shouting out a Duke. I
can't
can't shout out a Duke player that also looks like Ted Cruz. That's just something I can't do personally, Sam.
Yeah, Ted Cruz and Grayson Allen cannot have a good week at the same time, and that is why Grayson is thriving right now.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm rooting for. As much as I hate Duke, I hate Ted Cruz more for sure.
Dude, the
Grizz played a great game and they locked down Booker that game. It was a really fucking.
Booker also though missed an open 3 and missed a dunk at the end. I think like he kind of. I hate to say it because I love Devin Booker, but he kind of blew it a little bit. I got to say
he did, but they were all over him the whole game, and that can't be easy to deal with.
DeAndre Ayton, Chuck called him out as well. It's got to be putting up better point numbers. I'll say this, though. I think he's shooting very well from the field. They've got to give him more touches, I think, in Phoenix, because he's only averaging like 12 or 13 a game. And he's got 11 boards and he's shooting like 50-something%. The guy should be getting more touches. And you've got one of the best point guards ever in Chris Paul.
Yeah, you'd think Chris Paul loves a little pick and roll. You'd think they'd be doing more of that. Although I have to be honest, I have not watched that much of the Suns this season. I check in a little bit, but I got to make it a point to watch them.
They're one of the most fun teams to watch right now. They've got, Bridges is having a breakout year. I like watching Jake.
Both the Bridges brothers, man, they're playing great this year. Yeah. And the Hornets are really fun to watch, man. Really. I mean, talk about Bridges.
Scary Terry, dude.
Scary Terry's good. And you know what? Scary Terry is the kind, like, you got to think Terry has a future. Like Terry would be a really good matchup with like one of these ball dominant, bigger, like point guards. Like honestly, him and Luka would be really good. Would be
Right.
really good. Somebody that's going to do the dirty work on the point guard on defense, and who's just like a physical, smart defensive player who's not a great shooter, but you don't need him to be because he's doing all this other
He can
stuff.
hit big shots, so and he's
Totally.
confident.
And
I mean,
if
he
you
was great
stagger
for
the
Boston.
minutes, he can really fuck up second units. So
He got paid for a reason. And Devontae Graham has taken kind of a step backward this year after having such a big year last year. But
which was
LaMelo is the front runner for Rookie of the Year right now, you have to say.
Yeah. I mean, so they're actually fun in a way that, it's the thing that, like I said, I thought the Gordon Hayward thing was stupid in the same way that I thought. I just think a lot of teams that are on the precipice sometimes, especially in a year like this year with a strong draft class, I think it would have been smarter for them to take a step back one more year. But at the same time, I wouldn't have done the Gordon Hayward deal, honestly, and I would have been pissed if the Knicks did. But if the Charlotte did it, and at this point, there's nothing you can do but go all in, try and sort of be competitive at the lower ends and get your young players that playoff experience. And hopefully by the time that, Hayward's contract is ending, you've established a core that looks, attractive to other people to join. Now, that makes a lot more sense to do in New York than it does somewhere in Charlotte. But,
Hayward, I still think Hayward, I know he's had moments this year where he's looked outstanding. I still think he got overpaid.
Hugely overpaid for sure. But either way, one thing. So those are some of the positives.
Shooting 41 from 3, though. I mean, goddamn, he's all right. But I got
he's looked good. He's looked good. And we have to hit on the late game from last night, which we have to say the Warriors came back, had a big comeback against the Lakers.
Oubre seems to be getting over the dog kidnapping.
Oubre.
And shout out to Andrew Wiggins, who's up. He's guarding LeBron, dude.
Yeah. No, Wiggins is a very good defensive player for sure. Look, this is a big win. And this means a lot more to the Warriors. This is a much better game for the Warriors than it is like an alarming game for the Lakers.
Yeah.
The Warriors kind of need to prove to themselves that they're on this level, I think. And they've peeled off a nice string of, and they look, obviously they're night and day with Draymond back, and not just, it's not like he's putting up insane fucking numbers. I mean, again, he's really not. I mean, he's not.
This is what we talk about. Why we
the
love
counting
Draymond.
stats aren't anything. Yeah,
he's averaging 4 points a game this year. His field goal percentage is abysmal. He's shooting 31% from the field.
But he had 8 and 9. He had 8 rebounds, 9 assists.
And his defense is outstanding. And I mean, it's kind of crazy how bad his shooting is and how great he is at everything else.
Yeah. And he's so important for Wiseman. There was such a cool moment where, because they had him mic'd for the TNT game, and he's just coaching Wiseman. He's like, look, go out there, get in space. Like if you jump out on that, then you're matched up on, that's you versus Marc Gasol. And I like that for you. He's like, and he's saying that, by the way, in front of Marc Gasol, which is like disrespectful, but it's also like, because Wiseman was having a tough night, because that's a bad match. Anthony Davis and Marc Gasol is a tough matchup for a fucking 19-year-old. You know what I mean?
Is older, but he is a former.
He's so smart. Yeah, he's as smart as Draymond. You know what I mean?
Out of the gate, he hits a 3, which is already like, he's like, oh no, you're gonna have to play up on me too.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It's kind of fun. Wiseman, though, I gotta say, he's looking like a damn good player.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And but yeah, good win for
the tutelage of Draymond is only going to make him that much better. So congrats to the Warriors on.
It's a good win for them for sure. And Oubre, your boy, did have 23, but I also think, the Lakers play, like, let's be honest, LeBron and AD shot 6 for 16 both. Neither of them broke 20 points.
I think it was safe to say that Kelly Oubre was channeling the energy of 2 French Bulldogs last night.
That's right. So this continues the Lakers sleepwalking through the season and still looking really good.
Sleepwalking to a 1 seed.
Yeah, and it's like, so,
the West is in shambles because the teams that we picked, we picked Portland to be one of the top seeds.
Portland
Nurkic and McCollum are out.
That's what I was. Yeah, in terms, so we focused on the good news. The bad news is Nurkic. I think we talked about it already, but Nurkic broke his wrist, and now CJ has a hairline fracture in his foot. which is fucking brutal. CJ was playing the ball of his life. I mean, he was averaging career highs in points and assists. I think he was averaging 26 and something. You know what I mean? Like
he was crushing, and they just have to lean on role players now. Derek Jones, his shooting.
Yeah, the Blazers
terrible.
are fucked. Let's be honest, they're fucked. I mean,
unless Dame just goes on a mission right now.
Then, bro,
I'll
it's
say
like
Enes Kanter looked great the other night. He had 5 blocks.
Come on,
dude. I mean, as a backup big, Dame is that good that I think that they could stay a playoff team.
Unfortunately, they can say a playoff team. Dame can be Harden-esque when it's like where it's like he can be the whole offense, but at the same time, I mean, that's not a good playoff team.
No. I mean, they're in trouble. No question. Their shooting has gone out the fucking window without McCollum, and losing the Bosnian beast he's as we saw last year, he's irreplaceable for them. He provides so much. So brutal.
Brutal for them. And I mean, hopefully they can keep pace. Right now in the West, it's the Lakers with 11 wins, Clippers. It's Lakers, Clippers, Jazz, Suns.
By the way, that was, I believe, my prediction.
What's that?
I think it was Lakers Clippers for the 1 and 2.
Wow, way to fucking go out on a limb there, dude.
Hey, fuck you, dude. The Clippers had some issues.
Wow, you thought the Lakers and Clippers were going to be 1 and 2?
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you think? You thought the number 2 was going to be the Nuggets. Look at their fucking.
Yeah, I went on a fucking limb, and you know what,
you were
motherfucker?
Wrong, and you were incorrect.
Yeah, I'm living dangerously and beautifully. You're over there safe, having missionary sex. I'm at a sex club, getting pegged, getting my dick sucked by Jokic, while you're over there having missionary with Kawhi. No thanks, pal.
I would rather have missionary with Kawhi and be held with those big hands and be fucking pegged.
I'm being tossed. He's throwing me around like an assist, dude. Jokic is fucking tossing me around like he's tossing me to all his boys, dude. I'm getting passed around.
Kawhi's fucking pushing me with those big hands. And by the way, is it getting pegged if you're just getting fucked by a guy? I think you're just getting fucked by him.
Well, he's using a fake dick, so it's pegging. Right, yeah, that's the kind of freaky shit we're into.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Your fucking little vanilla mind over there picking Lakers, Clippers couldn't even consider a man fucking you with a dildo. You're very, even in your gay fantasies, you're traditional. It's marriage. It's marriage with Kelly Oubre.
Yeah, that's traditional. Oh, I'm sorry. I believe it's traditional. It's between a man and a woman. I'm going down the limb and going the gay marriage route. Okay?
No, see, that's how fucking sexually conservative you are, Sam. You think just being gay makes you a swinger, dude. This is 2021. Being gay is being straight, dude. Being monogamous and gay, you might as well be straight.
I'm fluid, just like Kelly, and I want the two bulldogs to watch.
You're drinking Kelly's fluid, is what you're doing, my friend. Anyway,
the fuck is going on with this podcast?
We're crushing it today. This might be our best episode ever.
Dude, as long as we're talking about the West. First off, the Clippers and the Jazz. The Clippers have won 4 straight. The Jazz have won 5 straight. The Jazz are coming out right now. The Jazz.
Yeah, and it's like I'm still not worried. I mean, we're basically at the teams have played between 15 and 12 games at this point. Some teams. I mean, I wonder if the Wizards will. It's crazy. I feel like they haven't played a game in like 2 weeks. They keep getting postponed for. COVID, but they still have 11 games under their belt. So I guess it's not that horrible.
What do you think? Okay, we got to give a quick shout out to the San Antonio Spurs, particularly DeMar DeRozan, who's averaging 7 dimes, dude.
Yeah.
He's also just shown up in big moments for them a lot this year.
That is a regret of mine because I think I had the Spurs a little higher than you, but I should have picked them to make the playoffs outright just because of a season like this. Continuity is so important.
I know, but they looked kind of washed last year a little bit, and then
I like their young guys, and I think DeRozan. I think you could say that about Aldridge more so than DeRozan. Although Aldridge is shooting threes now, I don't know. I think they need to trade one or both of those guys for the long term, but Pop just might like trying to be the 5 seed. You know what I mean? Who knows? So we'll see though. Again, it's still pretty early. I won't really panic, but you
have to assume the Mavs and Nuggets are going to get in. I think
for sure. I would.
They're right now the 10-11. Dude, the Thunder are 6-6.
Yeah, that's funny. But I think the Mavs just got Porzingis back, and I think and he's looked solid. I mean, he's still playing his way back in.
So who do
And
you think's out in this bunch? Do you think it's the Sun? Do you think it's the Spurs and the Grizzlies because they're currently in, and then the Mavs and Nuggets find their way in?
yeah, I could see the Spurs and Grizzlies being the play-in team. Although, listen, the Warriors have looked good. I could see the Warriors being well. I could honestly see anyone Spurs down, which is Spurs, Blazers, Warriors, Grizzlies, ending up in the fucking play-in game because the Blazers are just so snake bitten by these injuries, and Dame kind of had to do this last year, and he's not a big guy. You know what I mean? Like this is not. It can take a toll on your body, bro.
Poor guy. He's really just done so much for that franchise, and
hey, he's got the Supermax. I think he's going to be okay. But
no,
yeah,
he'll be okay. But it's just like physically, you're right. It's a lot.
No. So yeah, I mean we'll have to see. And then in the East, the Raptors have kind of won 3 straight. They're still 5-8, but they're looking a little better here. And Boucher is kind of I think becoming their like sort of de facto number 1 center here.
I don't know if they make it, dude. I don't know.
I still believe in the Raptors, man.
Yeah, no, they're that good, and also, I mean, the Heat are 5-7. They're the 12th place team. You got to assume they're gonna make it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe in Knicks, Cavs, Hawks being in the playoffs right now. I think that shakes out. I think you got to find a way for the Heat, and obviously the Bulls. I think are going to get there for sure. So that's something you have to. You need to find spots for the Bulls, Heat, Raptors, who I think equally will have a chance at being in the playoffs.
I don't think the Bulls get in. I think the Heat and Raptors might get in, but you know what? The Knicks are the 6th seed, so I guess that takes the 7 and 8 out, which is the Cavs and the Hawks, and the Knicks will stay the 6th seed.
I don't. We'll have to see. We'll have to see about that while I'm dipping my ribeye in some au jus, courtesy of Mr. Sammy Morrell. We'll be talking about that in about 4 months' time here, pal. Or I guess 6th or 7th.
This old Jew ain't gonna.
Yeah,
ain't gonna have that.
I'm having it. I want some au jus from this old Jew.
It's hilarious that the Wizards have played so, and dude. I mean, I just think and shouts out to the Hornets for being a young team and being in the mix too, and the Magic. I mean, I do think that Vucevic is one of the most underrated players in the league. It's that market, but he is so consistently a double-double, and he's got the 3 down. He's just a good player, man.
Yeah, no, he's fucking great. I wonder if if anyone can use them.
23 and 11, and he shoots 42% from 3, and he's getting 1.3 steals. I mean, he's kind of just a nice player.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, he's good. It is the kind of thing of like who on a good team needs an offensive center that is a defensive liability. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like that's
it does get you boards.
I mean, I guess if you had really stout defense, I mean, I guess theoretically maybe the Celtics actually sort of makes sense a little bit, but they have plenty of offense. I don't know.
But don't they? I think we talked about Drummond for them making a little more.
Yeah.
But then, do they sign Drummond long term? And I think Drummond.
No, I don't think so. I think
he's looking for that long term contract.
Yeah, but I think he makes sense as a rental even for them. But anyway, a lot of good stuff going on in the fucking NBA, folks. A crazy, really jam packed schedule. We hoping this COVID shit kind of fucking. These games they can get, the NBA seems to think that this is going to be the hardest part of the season. And hopefully that's the case. And hopefully after they get these outbreaks with the Wizards, basically the Wizards are really fucking, shit. I mean, their game today is postponed against the Hornets. I mean, they've had a lot of postponed games, which I think is just, I don't know. It's actually good for them because I think Russ is hurt. So if they, who knows? But And maybe the plan is just keep postponing so they can't trade Bradley Beal. Maybe that's what the Wizards want. It's like, but
I wonder who would make a run at him. I mean, that's really the interest. I think it's got to be Miami.
Miami would be good, man, for sure.
But after you see what they had to pay for Harden, you got to think.
I mean, but also it's like,
steep a price
if the Nuggets keep sucking dick, I mean, but then again, they've been hurt. They haven't had Porter, who is very important to them. So I don't know.
Right.
Anyway, whatever. But the Nuggets might say, we also have to say so the Harden trade obviously went through and everything, but the Karis LeVert, because of this trade, found a growth on his kidney. So, they don't know what it is. He's out indefinitely till they figure it out. So hopefully it's nothing really serious. Hopefully it's something that I had a fucking scare where I had a tumor in my jaw that thank God ended up being benign. But I remember thinking like, oh, I guess I'm fucking dead. Like, I guess I've got, and so, prayers up for him. And also Karl-Anthony Towns was so tragically, he contracted COVID and it's been so devastating to him and his family. And, everybody,
to the great
thoughts,
Karl-Anthony Towns,
thoughts up to him. And the Wolves keep losing, but it's a bad, that might end up being good for them if they keep they keep their top 3 pick or it goes to the Warriors. So
yeah.
Next year it's unprotected. But anyway, we have some nice games going on tonight. Celtics Sixers. The Sixers have 9 wins, so they're looking good. That'll be a fun game. I wonder if Tatum will be cleared. Hopefully, that'll make it a much more enjoyable game. And there's some stuff going on
either
here.
way, Philly takes this game.
I hope so. We also have Pacers Mavs.
Angry. They're angry. Oh, Pacers Mavs is fun.
And then, by the way, the Mavs have lost. They've lost. Or I'm sorry, that's tomorrow that I'm talking about. They just played a bunch of games. Those games are tomorrow. Tonight we have Thunder Nuggets and Pelicans Jazz, which I'm not. Pelicans Jazz, I'd be interested in a little bit, but Nuggets Thunder, I don't really give that much of a fuck about. Yeah. Anyway. But then Thursday we got some fun games where we have Lakers Bucks is the early TNT game, Jazz Pelicans is the late game, and then we also have the late game on MSG. The set 2 teams with 7 wins and an equal chance to win the championship. The Knicks and the Warriors face off. So I will be watching that and rooting.
Baby, that begins the Knicks road trip.
That begins the Knicks road trip, and I'll be watching that, and I'll be hoping to see Julius Randle put his nuts in Draymond's mouth.
Hey man, love Draymond, but 23 Money Green ain't getting any love tonight.
On Thursday. So,
King
all right,
Julius.
Guys. That's right. Thank you for listening. And before we go, we want to read a couple reviews here. This is from, let's read one from Ralph Dongerson, who says, gives us a 5-star. But even though, and again, all these are 5 stars. If some of you haters give us anything less, you can suck my dick if you think you're getting read on the pod. He says, but he still gives the 5. The hate for my Celtics is unreal from a few jealous Julius lovers. Still, Sam's Knicks delusions are amusing nonetheless. Patty Noor says, sexiest voices in the NBA podcast game. Excited to hear you guys talk about the Knicks 6 games losing streak next week. Not happening, Patty, you fucking bitch.
No. With our glue and Tibbs culture, we're never going to lose 6 in a row.
Yeah, with our glue and our goo. Our jizz. From Drew J829, great time. He says it's the second best Sopranos podcast out there.
Love it.
Takes galore. It's from Grizzly Zoo. Love this podcast. Couple great comics and basketball analysis. What more could you ask for? By the way, thanks for trashing Melo and motivating him to go full clutch mode in that Raptors game. No problem. As we discussed earlier, we're not the biggest podcast, but we are the most influential podcast for sure. 5 stars from
Melo listens, and that's why we did that.
Melo listens.
Nothing but love for Portland fans. You guys are great fans.
We honestly, Portland does have a very serious soft spot in our hearts.
Yeah.
One of my best friend and roommate moved to Portland for a while, and he became a basketball fan. So it's been nice because we just throw on, like, if there's how it goes in my house is like, if Giannis is on, we watch Giannis. Knicks are on. It's kind of nice now because I have cable, so it's like you get the ESPN game, but then also, like, I didn't really watch the Nets last year, but now it's like sometimes you get this beautiful, like, there's 3 games on cable. You just flip around. It's awesome to go ESPN, Knicks, Nets. It's the best. But so how it goes in my house is like, if it's a huge Giannis is playing, if it's a huge, like, if there's some huge awesome matchup, I watch that. If not, I watch the Knicks. And then before it goes to like my other faves, before, Kings, Blaze, it's like we watch the Blazers in this house quite a bit because of my boy. So that's sort of
De'Aaron Fox, by the way, who's been
career high, looked awesome. It was a loss, but I love him. And how could I forget? Thank you.
Lefty speedy dunk. It looks like a fucking video game.
He rules. I love him. I'm kind of sad he cut his hair, but he's still the man.
I like the old hair, but dude, I go Knicks first and then everything else, but I am happy. Like, I love the matchups yesterday. I watched like so much NBA yesterday.
Yeah. Honestly, it probably goes Giannis and Giannis, the matchups for me. I am more of an agnostic NBA fan than you for sure. That's without question. I'm kind of our national correspondent. You're our Knicks beat writer. This is from CL Carpen. 5 stars, most entertaining pod I've ever listened to. I'd be down for 3 a week. Would love more mailbags. Hey, listen, Claire, who knows? If the rest of our lives fall apart, if stand-up never comes back and our other podcasts to fall apart, this might be a fucking daily show. Who fucking knows? It would be nice to imagine if we got paid to just be NBA like commentators. That would be hilarious.
We just like the successors of First Take. It's just we just have to become characters.
I think James Wiseman has a bigger penis than Kelly Oubre. I think we're just like ESPN. It's just like us in suits. In suits talking about who's got the bigger balls.
I'm like, Stavros, you make some good points. But the problem is Kelly Oubre's dick is so big, it is contributing to back problems, and it's why he can't hit a 3.
Guy with Xanax script says it's about culture. A delusional man with a full head of hair tries to convince a plus-size Adonis that these Knicks have potential because of a young core that includes Kevin Knox and the veteran leadership of Julius Randle playing 47 minutes a game. There is more, though. Are you curious which NBA players they want to have sex with? They'll tell you. Rampant speculation on the kinks of the coaches. Yes, they do that too. Finally, Stav will read John Hollinger's comments and column and summarize it for you, but in a fun way that doesn't require thought. Love the show, dudes. And that is absolutely correct, the guy with the Xanax script. That is the pod. Honestly, we should fucking tell. That's when people ask what our show is about. We should show them that because that nailed us.
Damn.
This is from John Madden's Prince Albert. He says, a really insightful podcast about the beautiful game, analysis on all the teams in the league, such as the Knicks, the Bucks, the Knicks, sometimes the Kings, and don't forget the New York Knickerbockers. Detailed breakdowns on all the All-Star players everyone wants to know about: Julius Randle, Emmanuel Quickley, Dennis Smith Jr., Alfred Payton, Obi Toppin, Nerlens Noel, Jared Harper, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. If he's playing against the Knicks, come for the Knicks talk, stay for the Knicks talk, and leave during which type of gunt is Paul George talk? I got to say, these are some pretty good ones.
Good listeners, man. I love our listeners.
Thank you guys so much. There's a couple I didn't keep track, and I think I missed some, but I will go back and read other ones next week, figure out which ones we didn't hit. And then if you want to leave a 5-star review and we will read them. So thank you. Those are particularly good. Grizzly fucking, guy with a Xanax script really honestly nailed us. And listen, sometimes it's not John Hollinger. Sometimes it's somebody else's column. Sometimes it's 2 columns that I'm just summarizing.
Sometimes it's a Zach Lowe podcast.
Sometimes it's a podcast that if I'm busy, it's a couple podcasts I listen to. But that's what you come here for, folks. Guys that listen to better podcasts, regurgitate them, missing key points, but add something about the consistency of a player's jizz. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will be back. We'll be back later this week, probably Friday, if I had to guess, so that we can summarize the big Lakers, Bucks, and Knicks Warriors games. So probably we'll record Friday morning and have that out to you at some point Friday during the day.
And I will say this: the Warriors, Steph, I know you're listening to this podcast. I got a little message for you for Thursday. Warriors, come out and play.
You got him, bro. Thank you guys. And as always, if you want that extra podcast that comes out Friday, go to patreon.com/poddon'tlie. We're really growing on there. We're very happy that you guys are signing up, and we will talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.